Hello, today I'm going to make a vintage edging from a publication called The Complete Tatting Book by Mlle Riego de la Branchardière. So this is a vintage publication. It's now out of copyright and it is freely available on the internet. I am putting a link to this publication in the information box below the video. So the one that we'll be making today is this Oeillet edging. I think it's interesting they didn't translate the first word, so eyelet edging, Oeillet in French. So this is what we're going to be making. So here it is. I think it's quite a pretty edging. Oh, and today I'm trying a different color background. I'm going for this green to see if that's any good for a change and to see if I can improve things. And you only need one shuttle to make it. And we start, I'm looking at the pattern here on the side, with the first eyelet. And I am going to hide the tail in the first ring. Just move this out of the way. So to do this, I wrap around my hand and then I flip the tail back under here and hold it. And I'm going to do the stitches over this little tail so that the first tail is hidden as you start. So the first eyelet starts with 5 double stitches. That's one. I just frayed open a little bit, so I'm going to cut it quite short to make it easier to enclose the stitches as I work. So that's one stitch. We're making 5. 2, 3, 4. Could have put on it. I should be able to just make one more stitch over it, and 5. Pull again and cut it really close to the work. Okay, so this is our first tail hidden. So 5 stitches, and here in the pattern they say 1 purl loop, and they do mean a picot. I tend to make my picots quite short when I work, but for this one you need to make it, I'm going to say a bit larger. Of course, this is all subjective depending on what's your normal size of picot, but if you can sort of visually see about this size, otherwise it pulls too much on the ring when you join them together. So 5 stitches on the other side. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try to slow down a little bit my stitch making because I regularly get comments to say I work too fast. I'm untwisting my thread. Okay, and close the ring. And reverse work. So I'm flipping this over and holding it in the pinch between my thumb and finger. And then we're making the second eyelet. And this one is made with 6 stitches, so quite close to the previously made ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a picot. And here in the pattern it says, work 6 double, then make an extra purl by turning the cotton twice round the pin. So I did have to ponder this a little bit before I figured out they just wanted 2 picots, one after the other. So this was we're making 2 picots with 1 stitch in between, and then 6 more stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and close the ring. Reverse work, and now we're making a second matching 5 stitch ring. 5 stitches, join 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and join. And as you see, because the picot is right at the top of the ring, if you make it too short, it just pulls them, they don't have any space to move and sort of take that shape one against the other. 2, 3, 4, 5. They end up like in this one being on top of each other. You know, you want to have a bit of space so that they can lie next to each other. That's why this picot needs to be just a little bit longer. Close the ring. And here it's important you do not reverse work, and you make what they call here in this pattern a dot. I really like the vocabulary in this pattern. And the dot is just a very small ring of 3 stitches, 1 picot, 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And here a very small picot for this one. And 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Like this. Close the dot. Like this. And then we reverse work. And we are making the large ring at the top, which they have called the rosette. So the rosette has 3 stitches. Again, I'm always starting the next element as close as I can to the previous one. Although in this pattern, if there's a tiny bit of bare thread, it doesn't matter. It would look fine. So 2 stitches, 3 stitches, and join. And then 1 stitch, which I'm starting as a full stitch instead of using the join as the first half of my next stitch. I'm just making the join, then starting again with a full stitch. And then 11 picots separated by 1 stitch. So that's 1 picot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 3 more stitches to complete the ring. 2, 3. You may find this happens sometimes. I'm finding, look, that this thread is quite twisty. I don't know why. Some balls of thread, sometimes it just happens. So which just means you have to drop your shuttle a bit more often and let it untwist itself. And close the ring. So that is the rosette. And after the rosette, before we reverse work, we join to the very small picot of the dot. So that's the tiny ring here, and just making a lock join. Oh, made it so tiny I'm struggling to pass my hook through it. Like this, and complete the join, and then we reverse work. And now we're making the 2 rings of 5 stitches, 5 stitches picot 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slightly longer picot, like this, approximately like this, 2, 3, 4, 5, and close the ring. Reverse work. Oop. Reverse work, and now we're making the ring of 6 stitches and join to the rosette. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, and we're joined to the last picot of the rosette. And then I'm making 1 full stitch, first half, second half, another picot, and 6 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we reverse work. And now we're making the second ring of 5 stitches on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and join, and 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the ring. So after we've joined these 2 rings, we do not reverse work and we make the dot, which is the tiny ring. 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, a small picot or a very small picot. 1, 2, 3. And close the tiny ring. And now we reverse work. And we're making the rosette. So 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, join to the previous ring. And I start again with a full stitch. So 1 stitch and then 11 picots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so I've made 1 stitch to finish the 11th picot and 2 more stitches, so that there are 3 stitches after the last picot. And again, I'm untwisting my shuttle whilst I close the ring. There we are. And now we are, before reversing work, joining to the picot at the end of the very small ring. Like that. And reverse work. And we're making again the set of 2 rings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a picot, a longish one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, untwisting my thread and closing the ring. Reverse work, and we're making the ring that's just below the rosettes. 6 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and join to the last picot of the large ring, and then 1 full stitch and then a picot and 6 more stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my twisty thread again. Close the ring. And reverse work. And now we're making the second ring of the pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and join, and 5 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and close the ring. On reverse work. Oh no, do not reverse work. After the pair of rings we need to make the dot. So 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and a small picot, and 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and close the tiny ring like this. And now we reverse work, and we're ready to make the rosette. So I'll make one more rosette, and then I'll leave you to carry on, I think. So I do like finding nice one-shuttle edgings. I think they're quite relaxing to make. They're easy to transport. You just need one shuttle to work. Now I'm distracted because I'm talking. 1, 2, 3. I think I want one extra half stitch in there. Well, we'll ignore it just this time. So 1 full stitch and then 11 picots. And when you're ready to add more thread, I'm going to put a link to a video that shows how to add more thread when you're working with one shuttle only, because sometimes it might appear more difficult to hide your new thread end when you need to add thread when working with just one shuttle. So 3 picots, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 3 stitches. So that's 1, that's 2. You can see my threads twisting again, and 3. And close the log ring, and then we join it to the little ring here below it. So here we are, a little segment of this pretty one shuttle edging in white, in green. I hope you'll enjoy making it if you decide to try it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.